Hello! I'm Shivani. You're watching The Curly Bookworm, and I'm sorry I haven't posted in so long. Let's get started because we have another tag. I love doing tags, I love it. So, for those of you who didn't know, and you only don't know because you haven't followed me on Instagram, but you should, link is below in the description box. I have been away. I've been at school again. Micah is in Ahmedabad and it's a school of ideas. That's what they call themselves. I'm putting up a video shortly about it, so I'm not going to go much into it, but I'm just going to say that I have been at college learning and being a student for the last 10 days or so, and so it's been completely crazy. I haven't been able to post anything, though I have like a whole bunch of videos on my backlog. I have a bunch of tags that I've been tagged in, and I'm going to spread them out. But for now, let's get into this tag. For this particular tag, Renata from Book Cravings has tagged me in the food and literature tag, which she created. You should check out her channel because it's super fun. She has the nicest looking books like ever. I'm going to put her link below in the description box. Oh, but before that, I must tell you, I just started reading what I think is my first, or could be my first, five-star book of the year. I'm so excited because I've been wondering for the last, couple of weeks why I haven't read a really good five-star book yet. But then came this book called Juliet Takes a Breath, and I'm totally in love with the way it's written. For now, let's finally start this book tag. So, in typical student fashion, I now have a notebook because that's what students do. The first one is name an unforgettable meal scene where you felt you were there. I don't know if I felt like I was there, but I know I wish that I was there the whole time. This is Enid Blyton's Famous Five or Secret Seven, any one of those books. I read them when I was really young, and these guys just seem to be forever on one long picnic, right? And they're just like having fun and they're eating scones and pink lemonade and all of that jazz. So every time I read any of those books, I really wished that I was there because I just wanted to taste that food real bad. And this was at a time when we didn't really get to eat scones and all kinds of things in India back in the 90s. But I must tell you that when it actually came down to it and I actually tasted a scone, I was, let's just say, not very excited or enthusiastic. I didn't hate it at all, but I was just like, oh, that's it? That's all I was craving all of my childhood? Question number two. A book with a dish or scene that somehow represents the cuisine in your country. I really want to think of something South Indian because I am from the south of India and that's the kind of food that I enjoy the most. Okay, I can't think of a single one, which is just pathetic. So, if any one of you who's watching this knows any single South Indian book that has, great cuisine in it, please remind me. In the meanwhile, I will choose maybe Mistress of Spices by Chitra Banerjee. So it's about this woman who owns this, curry shop or like a spice shop where you can actually go and buy Indian spices. And this shop is based in LA or California or something like that. I don't remember the book really clearly, but I remember just really feeling very Indian when I was reading that book. Of course, the protagonists were Indian, but it was based abroad. It was very descriptive of like the spices and how it smells and how it feels and stuff like that. It's the closest thing I can think of when it comes to like Indian cuisine. It's not cuisine itself, but like things that most Indian cuisine is made of. Like nothing gets made without our spices, quite honestly. Question number three. The perfect cooking scene. I'm totally going to cheat, you guys. Because the minute you say the perfect cooking scene to me, the only thing that turns up in my head is The Chef's Table by Netflix. It is such a freaking good show, and I'll tell you why. Because every time you switch on that show, you just feel like eating and you feel like never stopping eating. For those of you who haven't seen the show, it's a show about some of the best chefs in the world. And these guys are talking about where they get their inspiration for cooking, who is their inspiration, what their story is, what is their restaurant like, what is the philosophy behind their cooking, so on and so forth. And Jesus, it's so good. The next question is a fictional dish that you wish you could taste. This is definitely going to be butterbeer for me because I was dying to taste butterbeer. Because I was dying to taste butterbeer. I, because I was dying to taste butterbeer. Butterbeer. I can say it now. Butterbeer, 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 butterbeer. Okay, so that's what I really wanted to taste. So in Jan this year, I did taste it. I'd gone to Harry Potter World and I did taste it, and honestly, it did not satisfy me. Seems to be a constant theme in my food reading and then tasting. Question 5: a fiction book that made you learn something about a foreign cuisine. There's this book called like Water for Chocolate. It is the best book I've read on food, or the best book that has food in it. It's literally like they decided to write these recipes and tell a story through them. It's based in Mexico and it's based in a Mexican kitchen. And there's so much detail on the kind of food that they cook. And you're just like, I want to be there in that kitchen. And I want to be there in that kitchen because when I was growing up, my grandmother cooked a lot and she took a lot of pride in cooking. And she used to she used to cook over like an actual stove. When I say a stove, I mean like, the kind where you use wood instead of like, gas or electricity or whatever it is that you're using. So the food would taste different, and even the smell of when you start cutting the onions to roasting the garlic to putting the spices in, there was like phases to the smell. So anyway, I'm totally salivating right now. I'm drooling. I should stop behaving like someone who hasn't eaten. So the next one is, what do you enjoy about meals and food in literature? What I really enjoy is that it adds to the culture, it adds to the camaraderie, it adds to the scene, it adds to the landscape of what we're reading about, and it really creates that much more of the world. It creates a need for you to be there to sort of sample that food. If you're a foodie like me, if you're a glutton like me, then you probably, feel like that as well. Question number 7 is the worst meal or meal scene you've ever read. I don't have any specific one for this, but every single book that gets really gritty, that has a really gritty and shady and grey world, like, for example, Oliver Twist, or any of those books that have orphans or orphanages or any of those things, like Daddy Longlegs is another book that I can think of. They just seem to have like the most pathetic food ever, and all of the meal scenes are just centered around stale bread and stale cheese and shit like that, and it's just ew. Question number 8: the most iconic food moment in your opinion? I feel like that's too much pressure on me to talk about the most iconic food moment. I feel like Water for Chocolate has so many iconic moments when it comes to food. But having said that, this one scene that makes me feel like I wish I was there because it's so iconic is when Harry Potter and Ron and Hermione enter the grand, food hall, and just before the sorting hat and all of that happens, and like there's floating candles, and oh my god, what a great scene, and the food that's there, and like the whole, I mean, it just added to everything and it was just gorgeous. Question number 9: your favorite food in the entire world and a book or book scenes that match it. So I don't live at home anymore. So my favorite food in the whole world really has to be home food. It's food that mom's cooked. It definitely used to be food that my grandmother cooked. It's just food that reminds me where I'm from and my childhood and family and things like that. And I really, really, really enjoy that kind of thing. And I will cheat again and I will mention the same book again because, like Water for Chocolate, reminds me of that kind of space where it's all about family, it's all about, food that's been passed on through generations, recipes that have been passed on through generations, home food, and like Water for Chocolate, which is a book that I've gone on and on about, which only goes to say you have to buy this book and read this book if you're a foodie and you love books and you will really enjoy this story. That's it for this tag, but I would like to end this tag by tagging more people. I'd like to tag Clara, Cam, and Shamina, and their book channel links will be below. I hope you guys do the tag. It's so much fun to actually discover why you like food and books. Anyway, so that's about it from me. I gotta go now. I will put up my Being a Student video this week, I promise. And more videos coming up soon. In the meanwhile, do your sharing, do your liking, spread the word about this wonderful book channel. Oh, and also remember, hit the subscribe button and then the bell button and show me your love. Bye. So this is a list of books that you can pick up if you're in the chill mood and you don't want to sort of tax your mind.